Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML F2. We are here for season number 7, round 4 of the championship as we take the Chinese Grand Prix, returning for the first time in 2 years of course to China for the Shanghai International Circuit. My name is James, I'm going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Thursday night, and joining me in the commentary box for the first time this season, it is my regular commentator for F2 this season. It is IKRT Storm. Storm, how you doing?
Yeah, seeing you turn you twice in 1 week. Oh. I'm only joking. No, of course, it's obviously nice to be back in TTM after taking a bit of a personal short break a few weeks, and yeah, no, to come to Thursday for TTML, usually for F3, but got the promotion, and yeah, it's nice to hopefully see some fantastic racing.
Hopefully so. And to remind you, of course, what actually happened last week, we are waiting for a couple of drivers still, so we might be starting a little bit late. Pyro took the sprint race win in an absolute shock because he's got no points so far this season up until that point. Pyro won, Simply Superman in second, Frankie in third. Then, for the feature race, it was Matt Tibos's day. Matt Tibos in the Alpine took the win from Simply Superman in second, and XL Bray with his best result of the season, finishing in third. What did that do to the championship standings? Well, Yona, after his dreadful disconnection that he had last week, of course, joining in qualifying and etc., Yona actually still leads the championship on 70 points. Simply Superman in second on 65, Tionis in third on 52, Matt Tibos now in fourth on 50, and Bray in 5th on 45, tied with Noisy on the same amount of points. Nathan Clark in 7th on 38, Yorga point behind in 8th on 37, Amadi and Tom ran off the top 10, they're on 36 points. Husby there in 11th along with Nick Houston on 31 points, Frankie and Ramazan tied on 21 points, then it's Neymar ran off the top 15 on 20, Remedium and Brick FN tied for 16th on 12, Pyro in 18th now on 10 because he picked up the sprint race win, Yana in 19th on 8, and DJ Gill in 20th on 4 points. Yona out on top, Simply Superman second, 5 points separating them coming into tonight, and it looks like both of them are here. So, who is going to get this race win? Is Yona going to return back to his good form like he showed 2 weeks ago?
Wow, obviously I caught a bit of last season. You were the main commentator with Pepsi Freak, and we saw Yona and obviously his team, well, his rival, should I say, not teammate as such, but his rival really go at it until the last race. But yeah, no, I'm actually going to pick somebody a little bit outside the box here. I've actually raced with him at this track, and he was unbelievable, and that's TTG Neymar. He is a very quick driver, obviously, as we all know from previous TTML seasons. He just seems to get this track and the strategy that is required, and I think he may just be the dark horse that may, if one of the top two that doesn't win this race, he may just get it or be up there on the podium.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of a disappointing start to the season, to be honest, I think, Neymar, so hopefully tonight might be the comeback trail. He has been quite consistent, by the way, in terms of his races. 15th currently in the standings, 20 points to his name. Hopefully he might be able to pick up more here tonight. 13 drivers about to do battle around out on track. Take you through the constructor standings quickly before we go out, of course, into qualifying. Aston Martin leading the way on 91 points. Williams in second on 83. Red Bull in third on 82. Mercedes in fourth on 81. Very close to the top end of the constructors. Alpine in 5th on 70, then it's Ferrari and Haas tied for 6th on 69, Alfa Romeo in 8th on 44, McLaren in 9th on 33, and AlphaTauri in 10th on 22. That standing from 8th to 10th is very, very nice indeed. That looks very nice on the eye, I've got to say. Aston Martin, though, leading by 8 points coming in tonight. Williams, Red Bull, Mercedes, though, all chomping at the bit.
Yeah, it's quite different to see not Mercedes or Red Bull up there leading the constructors. We've obviously got the Aston Martin up there. I am a fan of the Aston Martin livery. Obviously now the pink line has been removed and it's gone off to Alpine. But yeah, no, it is nice to just have someone different, kind of like the underdog really. But yeah, no, it'll be, I think, a very interesting race, and also it may be with the weather as well. We don't know if it's going to rain, if it's going to be sunshine in the race. So, yeah, it could be a very unpredictable evening.
Yeah, it could be quite overcast. Currently, it's blazing blue sky, though, for qualifying, which is very good to see. Very, very good, and puts everyone now on an even playing field, of course, coming into tonight. Looking through the chat, good evening to Kermit, good evening to Menno in the comments section, of course. If you are tuning in, by the way, for the first time to TTML F1, and you just literally came on board since the FRL stream on Tuesday, welcome along. This is TTML F2. It's not FRL tonight, which is good. First drivers, though, about to come out on track. I think it's Neymar, the first man who's going to be out on track. Of course, 15th position in the standings, 20 points to his name. You've tipped him up for a very good finish here tonight. I think he will do quite well around here. Obviously, with a reduced field, it creates that sense now of drivers obviously getting that free air out on track in qualifying, which will be crucial. But Neymar, I think, is one of those drivers, I think, qualifying normally goes better than the race. Race he's still consistent in. This could be the night where he breaks into the top 10. Hopefully, maybe break into the top 5 as well.
Yeah, I think with Neymar, it's, he thrives under the pressure. I've been his teammate. I know what type of driver he is. He's an excellent driver. I just think maybe he needs to take the nerves off of himself, just relax kind of thing. And I think we'll see an unbelievable performance. He knows this track quite well. It's a track that he likes. He's just got to get it right. And I think if you can get all the components right, the strategy here, the position right, you could be in for a really good race finish, because there's not a lot of people here tonight, as you mentioned. There's only 13. So he's going to have the track space. He's just got to use it to his advantage and get the overtakes done if he needs to.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the effect, actually, that China has on people. There's only 13 drivers here tonight, but it does create that really good sense, I think, for seeing who is going to be on top out on track. I think Jorna's going to return back to his best here. He's looked imperious. Up until last week, he looked imperious. Took the first 2 wins of the season. I'm going to pick Jorna then for pole position here in qualifying and for the race win as well. And he'll probably come race as well. They are coming towards the line then, across the line. On board, around this, I don't know how many kilometres this circuit actually is. I don't have that information to the right-hand side of me. But Neymar's coming through turn number 1, through the right-hander of turn number 2, and then through the left-hander of turn number 3. Of course, Shanghai first came into the championship picture in the calendar in 2004, of course. So it has been a focal part of the season, of course, missing due to the coronavirus pandemic, of course. 24.3 though for the first sector from Neymar, coming through turn 5 there, in towards my favourite section of the track. This X section, if you get it right, coming through 7 and 8, it really, really sets you up on your lap. Go through 7, go through 8, on the right-hand side of the curb. Very nicely done indeed. Now the double left-hander, this is why I love this track so much. Double left-hander, very, very rare in F1 these days. Neymar negotiated that very well indeed. Through the middle sector, 51.7. That's there or thereabouts normally in terms of you what be expecting for a banker lap. So Neymar now coming through the right hand of turn 12, through 13, and then on the run down the straight, which of course reminds me a bit like Delhi on the run down the straight. I said that as well for America, I think. But Neymar on the run down, opening up that second DRS zone. Of course, there are 2 DRS zones on the track, one down the start finish straight, and one down this back straight, down in towards turn number 13. And let's see how Neymar is going to get on in towards turn 14. Nicely negotiated indeed. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. There's an AlphaTauri that is up. That's past Bramer, I think, that has gone off as Neymar now comes through the final corner and negotiated very nicely. Took a very clean lap from Neymar to the line. 31.7. That's a good bunker lap.
Yeah, definitely a good banker lap there. I do have to say, I do admire how the drivers take the final corner. Obviously, we saw how Alex Albon took it a few years ago when he was starting out in Formula 1, and it didn't go so well. But yeah, I think the final corner is a very unique corner. You can nail it, or you can epically get it wrong and get a track warning. So yeah, I think that's going to be a key part where the drivers can either invalidate or they can get a really good bank lap or final lap in.
Yeah, definitely. So Jonas I'm on board with now, coming through 10-14. He's looked very quick through the first and middle sectors. Could be going around Neymar sort of times. Normally around 5 seconds to the line from the final corner. On the run to the line, and he goes second. Good lap time from him. Jorna is behind as well. He's just catching the slipstream of past Bramer down in towards the hairpin of turn number 14. Jorna was short of his best last week. Of course, he had problems joining qualifying in the sprint qualifying. He didn't join for that race. In the feature race, it went completely wrong for him. This time, though, he's coming back and he's got a 30.8 to come back with. Yona out on top, Neymar in second, and that immediately is going to take some beating.
Yeah, wow, what a lap from the Aston Martin. He ain't come to mess about, he's come to play, and yeah, what a lap. It's going to be an Aston Martin versus an Alpine, so a little bit of English versus the French there, but yeah, no, what a lap. Simply per second with a 31.4.
Yeah, very good. I'm not sure if your internet's going, by the way. I could just see it crackling in and out. It's a bit like you're on a spaceship at this stage.
Yeah, no, it's the same with yours.
Yeah, the absolute joys. I think it's the party that we're in at the minute. Yona, though, out on top. DJ Gill second. He's gone 4 tenths behind Yona. Simply Superman, though, top step of the standings at the minute, going to Yona, obviously. He leads by 5 points coming in tonight. Simply Superman, 31.4. Very, very slow time, I think, from his perspective. He can go a lot quicker than that. I know he can, the Irishman. And he should be looking to maybe improve as we go throughout the session. But Yona out on top, DJ Gill in second, Simply Superman in third. Nathan Clark was on lap. He's invalidated, though, as is Bas Bremer. Last week's race winner, though, in the other Alpine, Matt Tibos, coming through now the double left of turn 9 and through the left-hander of turn 10. And he's looked very, very coy, I think, after his performance last week. We'll see what Matt Tibos is doing through the middle sector. 51.7, so should be going around Neymar, Simply Superman sort of area in that middle sector. He was purple in the middle sector, probably indicative, I think, of the actual times. But Yona out on top, DJ Gill in second, Simply Superman in third, 7 minutes gone in qualifying, and Matt Tibos now on the run, opening up that second DRS zone. On the run down towards turn number 14, where he can gain 200 mile an hour down the straight. I think Nick Houston is preparing up for a lap just in front of him and just wants to get out of the way, I think, as looked like the front wing was actually going into the map there of the actual track, as Nick Houston just gets out of the way to the left hand side. Parked it a bit awkwardly there, I've got to say, but Matt Tibos now coming through the final corner, on the run to the line, and he goes ahead of Neymar, so out-qualifies his teammate for now, 31.7, Neymar back out there on an outlap, but Yona out on top, DJ Gill second, Simply Superman in third, nobody else I don't think is on a lap, apart from Bas Bremer coming through the middle sector. He's not on a lap, I think he might be coming back into the pits.
Yes, he's done a 58 points. About 7 or 8 seconds slower than what Neymar set in his sector 2. So I don't think this is a plea to get a time or something on the board. And it's quite interesting. We've got a few drivers actually on the medium compound side. Not somebody normally drivers go full out on the softs, but yeah, a few drivers are on the mediums. The highest medium runner at the moment is Imad, who is in 7th with a 32.9.
I think Imadi's on another lap here as well. 32.9, that's at a medium compound tyres, hopefully going to be going into play as well. We'll see what his lap time is. The Scotsman, of course, former TTML F1 driver. We have to see where he's going to lay up the land here in China. I believe he was actually on the podium in China the last time he came here in TTML F1, when he actually last attended in China. As now Imad comes through the final couple of corners. Rojgod there in the comment section saying, let's go Neymar. Neymar currently in 5th position as Imad comes out the final corner on the run to the line. He will improve on this lap. Doesn't improve his position, but it's a good 6/10 improvement there on that set of medium compound tyres. And I always say, mediums to softs is somewhere around 1.2 to 1.4 seconds around here. So if Imad can get within that section, or at least improve by a second, he's going to be going ahead of Simply Superman, at least, as Nick Houston, by the way, has just gone ahead of him as well. He's gone 7th, and he's only 1100ths of a second behind the fastest medium runner at this stage. And to remind you as well, Imad set that lap time on 3 lap all mediums. Nick Houston was on fresh mediums.
Impressive to see these times as well, especially to see these cars only for the next few months, because obviously we've seen the new 2022 cars, and it looks like they're having a bit of a party going down the Bahrain straight, as they are bouncing a little bit more than what these are, and yeah, it's definitely a change in Formula 1.
Definitely a change, and a change of obviously with the games as well. F1 Manager's going to be coming out in the summer, and I can't wait for that. Hopefully it'll be positively received by the league racing community, as well as the new F1 2022 game, which apparently is going to be coming at the end of June, I've heard. don't kill me if I have got that wrong. But Yona out on top, DJ Gill in second, Simply Superman in third. We have got laps going on. Neymar's right at the end of his lap, coming through turn 16, and on the run to the line goes Neymar, and he goes third. Good lap time. He found a good 0.2 of a second there in the final sector. And he's behind DJ Gill by around 0.05 of a second. But Yona out on top, DJ Gill in second, Neymar in third. Simply Superman to the line, just preparing up for a lap. Chionis is a 10th up, coming through the first sector. Not sure if there's anybody actually further on the lap. I think it's Chionis that is first out of that. Oh, he gets very squirrely coming out of 9 and 10. Surely he's got to back off that lap. That is surely not valid. He's 1900ths up in the middle sector. But my goodness me, he was going on a bit of a roller coaster ride coming out of turn number 10 there.
Yeah, and also I think with China, as we've seen through the chats, up and down TTML from F1 to F4, China's like it's kind of a thing of Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. And for me, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it, I just don't like the track layout. I don't know about yourself, James, but I just don't like the layout.
As a driver, it's an absolute nightmare. Chionis again at the final corner, invalidated on his lap. He would have improved 0.09 of a second. Yona, by the way, is 0.3 up, coming out of the middle sector. He's coming down towards turn 14. I will answer your question in just a second, by the way. But Yona's on this lap. Nathan Clark goes second, normally up there in terms of the standings as well in qualifying. Yona, a bit slow at the final corner. On the run to the line, doesn't really slow him up that much. 30.5 now. On a set of medium compound tyres, and I think the last time we came here to China, I'm pretty certain it was a certain Zhao Zhao that I remember certainly. He's at a 30.2. Yona already 30.5. Could he possibly go ahead of Zhao Zhao's lap time in qualifying, obviously, from a couple of seasons ago? I think it was like season 4, I think Zhao Zhao was in. But Yona out on top, Simply Superman in second, Nathan Clark in third. I will answer your question now. Yeah, the track layout for me, as a driver, you hate it. But as a commentator and as a viewer, I actually like it because this track always provides really good racing, I think, out on track. Hopefully, more of the same, of course, here tonight. But normally, we do get really good racing around here from a commentator's perspective and a viewer's perspective compared to a driver's perspective, because honestly, I've been a driver here before in China, not in TTML but in other leagues back in the past, and China is literally my worst track. Turn 10 especially on F1 2018, I kid you not, it was terrible on the curbs, and that is why I've now retired into the commentary box.
Yeah. If I see another Chinese track on another calendar. The is, he wants to win the championship because he's probably got maybe an eye on the top tier in TTML. I know it is, I believe it's top TTML F1, so yeah, I think he on that and one eye on this tier. Obviously he needs to be, if he wants to win this tier, he needs to be fully focused. Let the celebrations, whatever, his promotion, if it happens at the end of the season. At the moment he is literally doing everything right. He just obviously came a bit short last season, as we saw, the heartbreak that he obviously had, but yeah, no, he's
Have you stopped talking? Oh, you're very laggy on my end.
Do you want me to leave and rejoin?
Yeah, that'll probably be better. Your internet's just cutting out and your voice is cutting out, so yeah.
2 seconds.
No worries at all. Matt Tibos on the lap though, 31.2 on that set of soft compound tyres. He is on a second lap on this set of softs, and he'd be hoping to try and improve, obviously, on this time. Yona though out on top, Simply Superman in second, Nathan Clark there in third. Storm will be joining me back very shortly indeed, which is why I've just seen the black screen on the black box on the left hand side. Matt Tibos though coming in towards turn number 15. Tom just gets neatly out of the way, and he's duped me into the pit lane. I should have known he was down on his time. And he was, in the end. Matt Tibos down in 5th position, 31.2. Bas Bremer has invalidated through the middle sector, and I think he picked up a this and next lap invalidation from the last lap, because he went wide coming through turn 16. 3 minutes to go though in the session. Yona ran on top, Simply Superman in second, Nathan Clark in third, DJ Gill currently in fourth. Ahmed D is just preparing up for a lap, the Scotsman coming to the left-hander. Hopefully we'll have Storm back very shortly. And Ahmed D has just done a listen next lap and validation coming out the final corner, so we can now check with Storm. Are you back?
I am here, yep.
Fantastic.
Is that better?
Yeah, that is a lot better. I think it just cuts out from time to time. It's more of an annoyance than anything else. Hopefully nobody is picking up on it on the stream, which is good. But Yona out on top, Simply Superman in second, Nathan Clark in third. DJ Gill is the next man to set a lap, 31.2 on that sort of soft compound tyres, and he's really on the bubble, I've got to say, for that fourth position, because Matt Tibos and Neymar are only, 300ths of a second and 500ths of a second respectively off the time. DJ Gill is 600ths off the second, 600ths of a second off Nathan Clark's time. So really, DJ Gill, you would imagine, has got to improve on this lap.
Yeah, it's now coming to the point where it is going to be the final runs. As I am on board with he's invalidated, so that's not that's not a good thing to look at. Yeah, as you can see, everyone knows it is the famous words of the Mercedes pit wall garage. It is now hammer time. Yeah, something we don't hear in qualifying, but yeah, it is hammer time for the drivers. The only driver on the medium compound tyre at the moment is XL Bree, as he is currently in P11 outside the top 10, but it may not be. P11 is a very OP position.
Yeah, definitely. Alternate strategy obviously is going to be quite potent around here as well. Yona out on top, Simply Superman in second, Nathan Clark in third. That internet connection is still going, by the way, so hopefully it might be the case where we could just continue on and obviously try and decipher what Storm has been saying.
I blame Virgin Media.
Typical Virgin Media, it's typical. Yeah, I'm on Virgin Media as well, but I'm running Ethernet, so it shouldn't be too bad. DJ Gill on a lap coming through the middle sector. He's a 10th down through the middle sector. He look a bit shaky coming out of turn 10 there. And again through 11 and 12 he gets a little bit sideways. Cloud cover now beginning to come over the circuit. So maybe possibly limited improvements as we get towards the end of the session here. Yona right on top, Simply Superman in second, Nathan Clark in third. DJ Gill though, is he going to try and improve on this lap? We'll have to see his final sector. Yona is out on that lap. He's just coming across the line. Our pole sitter at the minute. Neymar currently in sixth position. Your prediction for possible pole position, possible good result here tonight, down in sixth position at the minute. But DJ Gill now coming out then towards the final corner. Turn 16 he's went too wide and he invalidates. Cattell coming out of turn 15, he just didn't get the angle right into the corner, and DJ Gill invalidates, and that is his session over and done with. And I'm trying to see if there's anybody else further on the lap. Neymar's up by a 10th, coming through the middle sector. He's now coming into the final sector, into the final two corners. But Yona out on top, Simply Superman in second, and that's how it might stand. Chonis has just gone third, Neymar to the line, and he goes fifth. Good lap time, but he only improves a 10th of a second. Very limited improvement indeed. Matt Tibos is off on a lap. Noisy coming through the middle sector is a 51.6. Yona in behind as well. I think we've got Simply Superman actually just ahead of him. So we'll see what Simply Superman can do on the set of soft compound tyres. He was slightly down in the middle sector. On the run down towards turn number 14. Yona out on top, Simply Superman in second. And the cloud cover's really got dark over the circle. This normally means one thing, i.e. rain. Later on, maybe in the race, possibly, who knows. Yona though out on top, Simply Superman in second. And can now the Irishman put it on pole position through the final corner on the run to the line. Very good run out of the line. And he does improve, but he doesn't get a fastest lap. Yona is improving though in the middle sector. So I don't think Simply Superman can even respond to Yona's lap time, because Yona is improving. Much better final corner from Yona, running to the line, 30.3, and that is really what you get out of the final corner. You gain a 10th of a second, and Yona improves 30.3. One of my predictions has gone right so far. Matt Tibos running to the line. He looks quite quick as well. And he goes fourth, ahead of Chonis. Good lap time by Matt Tibos. Tom, I think, was on the lap just ahead of him. Nick Houston is 7/10 up through the final sector. But he has actually backed off his lap coming through the final corner. He doesn't want to start any higher. Brave back into the pit lane. That is the end of qualifying. And it is Yona out on top. Nathan Clark in second. Simply Superman in third. And well, I did say Yona might return to his imperious best. And there you have it.
Yeah, I think I may have fixed the internet problem. It's not the internet; it's my controller. The the cable port does, for some unknown reason, I've had these headphones a little while now, and I think it's not connecting enough into the PS4 controller. It's like me getting old.
Like, loose connection. That's what it'll be. It'll be a loose connection. Hopefully it's all fine. It's certainly fine on my end now. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem throughout the race. But Yona out on top. He's 3.5 tenths clear of Nathan Clark. That's an unbelievable lap from Yona. Nathan Clark in second. Simply Superman in third. The rest of the field are covered by, what? Up to Noisy, he's covered by 3 tenths per second. So Matt Tibos in fourth, Jonas in fifth, Neymar in sixth, DJ Gill in seventh, Noisy, Nate, Nick Houston, and Armour D. Interestingly, they're in the top 10, but on a set of medium compound tyres. Bray, Tom, both did get lap times in, not valid lap times, I don't think, either. And Bas Bremer didn't even get a lap time set in. He invalidated on plenty of his laps, and that is why he's down at the back of the field. But it is Yona out on top. Can the Dutchman be stopped?
Well, it's looking like he can't be at the moment. Could he be the Dutch Verstappen? We won't go into the conversation of Max Verstappen, as we may get some people in the chat saying void lap 58. As that's looking quite overcast here in China. I know China is known for having some rain, as I've commentated over, where the whole race has just been on wet tyres. I think for China, for me, I've always preferred a dry track, because the wet track, it just kind of dies out the overtaking and kind of that situation. But yeah, no, I think a more drier track will be more better, because obviously you can get the overtaking and DRS will be enabled. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain.
Judging by the white wall tyres that I'm seeing in Tom's garage at the minute, I'm not sure if he's going to go on the set of hard compounded tyres. It might be the case where he does. If so, we're probably not going to get rain in this race. He's probably going to go to around lap 21, pit in for a set of soft compounded tyres. And we'll see what everyone's strategy is going to be on. If it is set of softs or set of mediums for the bottom half of the field, the final three, remains to be seen. I can certainly see somebody on a set of soft compounded tyres, I think. No, my eyes are just deceiving me. But it is soft compounded tyres, of course, for the top 8 who qualified on that set, plus Nick Houston and Armour D who qualified on that set of medium compounded tyres. Everyone else, Bray, Tom and Bas Bremer, been very, very belligerent, I think, with their tyres, and they've gone for a set of medium compounded tyres. Probably the right way to go, but this track is very, very high in tyre, especially on a set of soft compounded tyres. You could be seeing drivers pinning as soon as lap 4, lap 5, like the EML race around here that I fondly remember. Drivers were pinning lap 3, lap 4, coming into the pit lane, going onto a set of medium compounded tyres towards the end of the race. Mediums can't last towards the end from around that point, but set of soft compounded tyres, they've all qualified on them, obviously. Yona out on top, what does he need, ideally, to get a good start, and what does he need to lead him towards turn 1?
I think, for any pulse, they block anybody, but they want to kind of, move enough to just transition, not obviously, Mazepin style block, but, enough to not anybody let past. Obviously, we know under braking, what it says, obviously under the FIA regulations. But I think it's just, you've got to be on the mark. You've got to be, as soon as them light goes out, you've got to be on that power. And I think you can get it at this track. It's just heading into turn 1, because of the way and the nature of that turn is, if you go too wide, you are liable just to somebody tuck in at a lower kind of angle that will just get that position off you. But here we go, 28 laps here in China. I'll hand you over to James for lights out here in TTML F2 for round number 4.
Thank you very much, Storm. We are now getting onto the grid with our top 13 drivers, of course. Only 13. It's coming to put on the F2 chat. Very poor turnout. It has the effect, I think, China has on people. But hopefully, still, with limited numbers, hopefully a good race still in store. Yona out on top, Nathan Clark alongside him. There is Nathan's run down in towards turn 1. There is Yona's run down in towards turn number 1. And the car was just shaking there on the ground slightly. I was getting concerned it was going to take off. But Yona now, 5 red light about to go out here in TTML F2 for round number 3 of the round number 4 of the championship. It's lights out and away we go. And Nathan Clark gets a better start than Yona. He's on the inside line in towards turn 1. And do you know what? He's already already ahead. Nathan Clark gets the lead in towards turn number 1. Matt Tebos launches it on Simply Superman as well, and he's doing his into third. And now Jonas tries to go up the inside line as well, and there's contact between them both. Jonas on the inside line just has to come across on the circuit slightly. Luckily didn't come across on anyone. Nick Houston and Armadillo fight now with him, and it's getting a little bit squirrely halfway down the field. Matt Tibbles though looking to the outside line on Yona in towards turn number 5, doesn't get the move done. Nathan Clark leads the way. Yona in second, Matt Tibbles in third, Simply Superman in fourth, DJ Gale up to 5th, Neymar in 6th, Noisy in 7th, Nick Houston in 8th. There's a whole host of drivers going around the outside of each other potentially. Bass Framer going around the outside in towards turn number 9 or turn number 8 now for turn number 9, nearly forced him off the circuit. Goodness me, very close to contact. They're all through somehow safely. Nathan Clark though got the lead like he did in Singapore compared to Yona. Yona had a very poor start last season in Singapore. Reminds me a bit like that. Nathan Clark well and truly on the limit in terms of his start and got the lead right off the start.
Yeah, incredible start for Nathan Clark there as he just moved the car right into position where he wanted it and snatched that P1 as they come down the back straight here in China, as Nathan Clark will be to the end of lap 1. It was a very chaotic start to I had a potential 3 wide going into turn 2 as Nathan Clark sets the fastest lap.
He does indeed, but Yona now on the back from 2.5 attempts away on Yona spun on the inside curve coming through turn number 2. Well recovered, he has to spear across the circuit, but Yona well recovered, and that results in a 3 wide scenario. Neymar forced it down the inside line, and he's there's been spun by DJ Gale. Neymar, there was not a gap there. Do not go for a gap, that doesn't exist. Simple as that. Neymar now down in 13th, but Yona though down in 5th position now. He is now going to be struggling on that set of soft compound tyres. I did say about the high tyre wear around here, and Yona just purely took too much curb coming through turn number 2. That is why people hate China, because of the curbs. Yona being caught out by one. He was right on the back of Nathan Clark in towards turn number 1. He was 3 tenths away. Now he's more than 3 seconds away.
Yeah, I just wondered, does that give a sigh of relief to Nathan, because he knows Yona is not going to be like literally right kind of in the far distance mirror. But Matt can still prove to be a costly, well, not a costly, but a person that can win a race. He did it last week, so yeah, I wouldn't count out anybody yet, as we've seen already one Aston Martin spin.
Yeah, definitely so. I just sat on my controller, by the way, and nearly plugged my headset out. That's why I unplugged it quickly back in. It is Nathan Clark leading the way. Matt Tibbles, though, looks very quick down the straight especially. The sun now beginning to burn through the clouds, and Nathan Clark leads the way. But Matt Tibbles, fastest up the race, that performance at his home track, of course, at Silverstone, is coming back to buoy him, I think, because he's really now on the pace compared to Nathan Clark in second. He looks like he's handling his size better compared to Nathan as well. Of course, we don't have the system this season in TTML F2, but if there were, these drivers will probably be around 20% worn, I think, in terms of the tyres, maybe slightly less than that. But Nathan Clark leading the way, Matt Tibbles in second, Simply Superman in third, Chonas now looking for a move, possibly on the back of Ahmed D. Of course, Chonas got well down the field early on, and he's on that sort of soft compound tyres, remains in ninth now behind the Scotsman of Ahmed D. Bass Bremer there in 10th, the Dutchman doing a good job, but can he now try and close on that set of soft compound tyres ahead of him in Chonas? And Chonas there, P9, obviously qualified further up the field. He has dropped 4 positions up the start. Neymar's dropped 7, of course, of that spin with DJ Gale forcing the inside line. Definitely the gap was not there, so the stewards might have a look into that and probably deem it a racing incident, because Neymar probably forced it down the inside line too much. Nathan Clark, though, leads the way. It's outside of a second coming across in towards the DRS range, but luckily for Matt Tibbles, he is within DRS range. Simply Superman in third, DJ Gill in fourth. I'm really impressed, though, by Yona's pace. Yona's got back on the pace now. He's there in 5th position, 3 tenths of a second behind the Ferraris, and running down as DJ Gill makes a slight mistake, and Yona nearly taps the back of him with the left side end plate. But Yona is now back on the pace, and he's looking now quite quick.
Yeah, it's looking like he is going to try and get up some positions.
There
he
you go.
sets the fastest lap with a 32.5. I'm quite interested to see how these 2 Ferraris are doing. Normally, we're waiting for Binotto to give us plan A, B, C, D, whatever you want to put in the alphabet, as Neymar is into the pit, so an early pit stop for the Danish driver in the Alpine. But yeah, no, I think if Matt can, put a bit of pressure on Nathan, I think with his form at the moment, obviously winning last week, it could just bring him some confidence. And all a driver needs sometimes is a little confidence boost, a little, a win here, and it could, spark a form of run where he could win a few races and really give a championship fight.
Definitely so. I think he's been buoyed, as I said earlier on a couple of laps ago, he's been buoyed, by his performance of last week, and I think that is now really coming to help him. It seems like he's more control. His tyres are now beginning to struggle, though. Nathan Clark's beginning to pull away from him. In that middle sector, he dropped 2-3 tenths per second off him. Simply Superman in third, DJ Gill in fourth. You were mentioning about Binotto's plans. I think they're sticking to one plan and one plan only, and that's plan A. Simply Superman and DJ Gill more than likely will not have any contact on each other, so therefore they're thinking about their own races rather than the actual races of the team. And Ferrari, of course, are up there in the standings at the minute as Nathan Clark is into the pit lane from the lead of the race. So Nathan Clark into the pit lane, very, very tight pit limiter, pit entry, of course, here in China, as we now come across the line to start lap 5. Matt Tebboss leads the way, Simply Superman in second, DJ Gill in third, but Nathan Clark, early pit stop, he's forced everyone now to think about, I've got to wear my set of soft compound tyres out, and Nathan Clark, interestingly, goes on to a set of hard compound tyres, so he's now committed right to the end of the race. One of the wheelmen just got nearly cut off there by Nathan Clark coming out the pit lane, but Matt Tebboss leads the way, Simply Superman second, DJ Gill in third, and I think now these drivers have only got one choice: wear out their tyres for at least one more lap, maybe 2 laps, and then pit in.
Yeah, it is going to be, when do you pit? I think now, as we have seen a few pit incidents here in China. Quite noticeably, I believe, the Sebastian Vettel overtaking 2 cars in the pit lane as he didn't want to wait around. And I think also Lewis Hamilton going into the pit lane beached it in the gravel as well. So, and that was the old McLaren before it was the orange and blue that it is today, as that was the silver. Well, that was the Vodafone one, wasn't it?
It was the Vodafone one.
I'm probably making both of us. I feel old now.
Here comes Vic Houston, Simply Superman as well. Matt Tebboss already cut you off. It's attacking for the lead of the race, and Simply Superman forces Matt Tebboss onto the grass. Matt will not like that 1 second, and he now drops behind third. So the Ferraris' plan A has worked. Simply Superman in, and DJ Gill gets contacted by Matt Tebboss. He's into the pit lane. I'm not sure if there was front wing damage there at all. DJ Gill, though, was sent round by Matt Tebboss. And just silly incidents really being picked up here, I think, by the drivers. Jonas is also into the pit lane, so the Alpine and the Williams are both in. But Matt Tebboss contacted him. He was inevitably going into the pit lane. DJ Gill was inevitably going around the final corner. I've seen that. There is a front wing change for Matt Tebboss, unfortunately, and DJ Gill's gone off the track coming through turn number 1.
Yeah, I just wonder, did Matt pick up a little bit of overspeed, and that's why he may have...
Yeah.
Fortunate, I think... with overspeed, it can hurt you, unfortunately, as as they are all on the hard compound side, they probably will win off this 28 lap race. So yeah, it's now going to be a fight now for Matt to hopefully get back up the grid and put some pressure on them top 3 up there, who is currently not pit yet, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah, definitely so. Nathan Clark, by the way, going to roll away around the outside of DJ Gill, and DJ Gill's tyres are absolutely done. Nathan Clark, nice move there around the outside of turn number 9, gets the job done, and he's into P8. But look at where Simply Superman has come out. That's the next thing I was going to come on to. He's 1.5 seconds behind, nearly 2 seconds behind actually coming out the pit lane. He's there in 10th position. He's 1.8 seconds now off. Bas Bremer looking for a move on Imad down the straight in towards turn number 14. Doesn't get the move done. And I think Jona actually continues on. So Jona continues on. I think Noisy's into the pit lane, which he is. That now frees up Bas Bremer to have a go at Imad possibly down in towards turn number 1. But Jona interestingly sticking it out there. On that set of soft compound tyres, I think he's trying to stay out there for as long as possible. He wants to try and obviously lose a bit of time now. He's holding up Nick Houston. The mediums are clearly quicker now. But more that Jona stays out there, the more chance he's got of getting those mediums to the end. And I think it's a really bold call, but I like his call.
Yeah, if as they say, high risk, high reward, and I think that's what Jonah is going to do. But it is going to hurt him at the moment, and I'm sure them tyres are him probably off a cliff somewhere. But yeah, he is literally probably going to push them to, I reckon, near the puncture territory, where they are literally going to be wanting to climb off the car and literally detach themselves, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking at F3, by the way. F3 obviously live on our YouTube channel on League Racing TV, and apparently everyone keeps getting disqualified, which is not ideal at all. Hopefully no disqualifications here in F2. Yona leading the way, but he's about to be overtaken for the lead by Nick Houston, who's just going to absolutely saunter past him if he's not even there. And Yona now left in the wing mirrors of the Haas, and the Haas is now through, and he's into the lead of the race. Now, is Bas Bremer going to have a run at Ahmed D? Ahmed D still holding on for third, Tom down there in fifth, and I've just noticed actually Tom has had a name change. He's now joined SLX, which I think is a brand new team if I'm not mistaken. So Tom obviously joining that crew. Obviously they might have been watching TTML throughout the season. Tom has done and delivered some good performances, especially last season. Not this season so far though. Bas Bremer on the back of Ahmed D in towards turn number 1, not quite close enough. The sun blazes down on the drivers here as we are now a quarter way through this race. Nick Houston leads the way, Yona in second, and to be fair to Yona, those tyres might be absolutely shot on the set of softs. Through the corners he's terrible, on the straights though he can keep up.
Yeah, I just, obviously just looking at this, I just wonder, is he going for track position, or is he just trying to use these tyres so much that he's got enough for the mediums to, you know, to go to the end? Because at the end of the day, the more these tyres get worn and everything, he is going to lose track position because the tyres on the drivers behind him are going to be quicker. But here's the other thing, they've got to catch him first. You know, you have to catch the driver in front first before you can overtake. So it's a tricky one, I think. He obviously he can carry on as much as he wants, but you know, the thing is, do you want to risk track position now or pit early and, you know, maybe go for a longer stint on the mediums?
Possibly so. I think he'll be going for a set of mediums. I think, honestly, if Yona wants to get the set of mediums, he goes as long as possible into the race without those tyres puncturing. They're going to be around 60%, I think, at this point. But he's using up that deployment. That means he's going to be coming into the pit lane. Yeah, rightfully so. He comes into the pit lane, and he's coming in. I would assume this will be for a yellow wall tyre. It'll be 20 laps to the end of the race. I've seen drivers do 22 laps around here before, and Yona's normally good on his tyres. So I really feel confident that he's going to get towards the end of the race. It is a yellow wall set of medium compounded tyres for him. So Yona into the pit lane, and he's going to come out, I think, behind Chonas coming out the pit lane. Noisy is just chasing him down. And there is Chonas coming out the pit lane. Might get a better view if we can. There is Yona coming out the pits. Ooh! And that might be a penalty coming Yona's way. He had a bit of oversteer coming out the pit lane, but as you saw quite clear in the camera angle there, he cut the white line. So Yona possibly, I know it's oversteer, he did everything possible to try and not get that, but colder tyres might have just caught him into a penalty. Drivers, I'm sure the stewards though will look into that and probably think, yeah, he had a bit of oversteer coming out the pits, we can let him off with that.
Yeah, it is one of them case of scenarios, I think, where, you know, the stewards may put it as, you know, no further action needed because obviously, you know, he wasn't, you know, kind of in control of the car because it had the overspeed. But yeah, it's sometimes it is a slam dunk penalty where, you know, drivers do it, but I think in that sense it is a kind of more of a no action needed, as Yona is already on the back of that Williams. He is going to probably want to get this overtake done. He's going to get DRS. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go for it as they come to the end of the back straight, and that will be Yona up into P8 as they come into the heavy braking zone at the end of the straight.
Easy move that, I think, from Yona's perspective. He needed that move, I think, to now get him into clear air and now get him onto the back of Simply Superman. It's only 3.4 seconds, but when you consider the mediums are probably around a second quicker per lap compared to the hards at this moment in time, Yona is going to be flying on that set of medium compounded tyres. He might not gain as much as what I've just said there, but he will be on the quicker tyres. Obviously, they'll go off towards the end, but the more progress he can make now in this stage of the race, the better off he will be later on in this race. And that is why I think Yona has gone for this strategy. It's a bold call. It's a very, very good call, though, because I think with the purple first sector under his belt, he's now beginning to bridge that gap down. And he's already gained 0.3 of a second coming out of the first sector. And 3.1 seconds, but look at the time he's gained off Chonas. Chonas cannot live up at the pace. He's been on 4-lap-old hards now, and he cannot live up to the pace of Yona, and Yona is already gaining 0.6 of a second even through this lap, and we haven't even got onto the straight yet. So Yona is absolutely pushing those tyres to the limit, probably saving a bit up in reserve for later on in the race, but Yona, at the minute, he's the quickest guy out on track, and he'll probably be onto the back of Simply Superman, maybe even next lap around.
Yeah, it's at the moment it is pick your moment and pick it well, as Tom is going to move up, as Imadi is going to pit, and he's the first of the mediums, I believe, to pit. 9 laps.
Early.
Yeah, very early. I expected them to go a little bit longer. I don't expect him to be like maybe. Yeah, it's on to hards, as Jonah sets the fastest lap on the mediums with a 34.7, I believe that was. So yeah, Jonah is now in his own little element. He knows what he needs to do to get himself up on top, and I think he's going to try everything possible to do it. He's got the pace, he's got the car, he just needs to make the overtakes.
Yeah, that is the fastest lap from Yona, 34.4, so even quicker than what you even said there. Yona 34.4, cutting in to the gap, 1.4 seconds, and do you know how I said he might be onto the back of them this lap around? He will be, but I'm concerned now, because Imadi only made 10 laps on that set of medium compounded tyres. I wonder if Yona's thinking two-stop and going on to a set of softs towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I don't know if Imadi had damage, or he may have spun and got a bit of heat in the tyres, as if that's how you pronounce it, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to get someone in the comments say, oh, you said it wrong. He's up another 10th quicker on this time, as he's catching on the back of Simply Superman. I just see in front of Simply Superman, Nathan was weaving a little bit. I know it is okay and a little bit to do it, just to break the toe.
Bas Bremer's just nearly ended it all in the pit lane. My goodness me, he's got caught. He's basically got a bit of oversteer coming into the pit lane.
Oh, I have to interrupt you there. Jonah has just literally Tokyo drifted out of the final corner and has literally lost, I think, over a second to Simply Superman. Yeah, he literally Tokyo drift that round the corner. I don't know how he kept it from. I think it was, the final curb. Like Alex Albon did it, but he obviously, unfortunately, crashed his car. But yeah, it was just that literally curb. I think Jonah went on it too much, and I think the wheels just was like, nah, this is too much for us. And it's just literally, I wouldn't say kind of jackknifed it like a lorry, but has kind of just yanked the back of the car. And I think he's very lucky to keep control.
Yeah, definitely so. Yona there in 5th. He's now gained that time back, though. He's 7 tenths behind on Simply Superman. I'm watching above with Tom. Noisy just got overtaken by Imadi, and he's just picked up a 3-second penalty as Noisy as well. The penalties, by the way, coming through to the halfway stage of the race. Noisy, Matt Tibos, and Neymar currently on 3 seconds each. I am concerned, though, about Yona's tyres. He's one on the side of mediums. He can only go now set of softs towards the end of the race, because Bas Bremer and Tom also came into the pit lane, as is Nick Houston, as is Bray, so the medium runners are only lasting 12 laps around here, and this was my concern. If Yona obviously has got really good tyre wear, he could try and get towards the end of the race, but there'd be a really bad puncture territory. It is very high tyre wear around here. Yona didn't Tokyo drifted out the final corner this time around, but he is going to be in 3rd position, running down towards turn number 1. Nathan Clark Nathan Clark leads the way. Simply Superman in second. Yona in third. My voice is going, unfortunately. Nick Houston in fourth. Jonas there in fifth. But Nathan Clark doing a good job. Yona, though, is now like a hot rash over the back of the front two. Can he now try and close in? Down and towards turn number 6. I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's just letting these two go at it. Ooh, as he nearly went into the back of Simply Superman there. But clearly mediums are quicker. He's now been caught up in a bit of a wash. I think Yona now just... if I was him, I'd sit, I'd wait until these guys possibly come into the pit lane, or do you go for the move?
Yeah, it's kind of like going back to, I think it was last season, well, like Spain was a one-stop strategy, and then obviously the Mercedes strategist, they're wherever they work at, or I think called it was a two-stop strategy, and I think this is going to be the same situation as Jonah is right on the back of that Ferrari. Can't get the overtake done at the moment because I believe the car in front has got DRS, and Simply Superman can't get past Nathan there. It's kind of forming a little bit of a DRS train, but Imad is going to get himself up to P5.
Yeah, nice move that on the brakes by Imad. The Scotsman got the move done, parked it on the apex nicely, he's through, he's into 5th position. Yona on the back. You said there he didn't want to go, he didn't get the move done. He didn't get the move done because purely and simply he wasn't using up any ERS, and I think he might be just listening to me in the commentary box at this point. He might be thinking, oh yeah, James has got the strategy completely sorted out. Bit of snap of oversteer coming out of turn number 3, but he's just sitting there waiting, conserving that ERS. Simply Superman ahead of him is 20% less. Nathan Clark is 10% less. So Yona is in a very, very good situation. In fact, he's 15% more compared to Nathan Clark, the leader. Yona there in 3rd position. He's sitting and waiting, and he's not overextending those tyres, which is good. It is absolutely crucial that he doesn't overextend those tyres. I think, honestly, we're going to see a scenario where two-stop strategy is probably going to happen. I even think the hards are going to come into the pit lane before the end of the race. Nathan Clark leading the way, Simply Superman in second, Yona in third. Simply Superman actually makes a mistake, and Yona's going to sleep on by to the inside line now through turn number 13. Lovely move that, and that is like taking candy from a baby. Yona is through and he's into second. Simply Superman, though, is going to have the speed running down the straight, and Yona now needs to use up that ERS. He gets the DRS, and he begins to pull away from the Irishman, and Yona, is he going to be close enough to launch one on Nathan Clark? He is, down the inside line, in towards turn number 14, doesn't get the move done, he faked the move there, I think, but Nathan Clark leads, Yona in second, Simply Superman in third, and Simply Superman's all over the shop coming out of turn number 14, and now, coming through the final corner, Yona in a really good position to possibly get the race lead down in towards turn number 1, but again, doesn't use up that ERS, he's conserving it very, very nicely indeed, and I think this is more... We haven't seen this before, I think, from Yona. It's more of a tactical drive rather than all guns blazing and obviously wear up your tyres towards the end of the race. Yona's being more conservative, and I'm liking this.
Yeah, I think some races you have to choose to be the more tactical way. So, but no.
As I think you're getting called by a mum there in the background.
Yeah, unfortunately. I do apologise. But yeah, no, as... what was I going to say? Yeah, I think in sometimes you have to be more, tactical of what you want to do other than just going straight for the moves and everything. And, I think if you're more tactical in situations like this, it does bring a more, fierce battles on track because you don't know when they're going to make the move. But he is going to make the move.
He's going to make the move now, yeah, down the straight, coming out of turn 13. He really likes turn 13, and he saunters past Nathan Clark. Nathan Clark, no matter how much ERS and DRS you've got, you're not going to get past Yona down and towards turn number 14 on the brakes. Yona leads the way from Nathan Clark in second. Nathan Clark gets the switch back, and do you know what? I might be made to look an absolute fool, possibly down and towards turn number 1, because Nathan Clark will batter this all the way down in towards turn number 1. He now, out of the slipstream, will pull to the outside line to try and get this move done, and again, the yo-yo effect, and Yona backs off the throttle, and that again is tactical. Yona waiting in behind, forcing Nathan Clark through, now down the inside and towards turn number 3. I didn't think he'll pull this one off, down the inside line, trying to get the move done, doesn't get the move done. Nathan Clark leads the way. Yona there in second. Neymar, by the way, he's came in on 10 lap all mediums again. So, with that being said, we've seen drivers go 10, 11, 12 laps on a set of mediums so far this race. Yona, now, I personally think, needs to get into the lead of the race, because if not, his tyres are going to be starting to go off, and then he's got a lot more ground to make up towards the end.
Yeah, I think this is going to be about... Yeah. I think Nathan may have just got the strategy here, as he is on the hards, but will the hards last is another question, as Yona is now 0.2 seconds slower in Sector 2. That's just one sector on its own, so I think the mediums, as you said, are going to be a 2-stop strategy, and I think it will be 8... Well, you can't even do 8 laps on the softs, but, well, Jonah did in his first stint, so it is possible, but I think it may come, as he is actually going for the move, as my game showed me very late on the camera angle there, and he gets the move done. But is Matt going to come... not Matt, Nathan. Nathan is right in the back. Is he going to get him here? As he will get... As he cross the line for which will be lap number 17 of 28. So 11 laps to go, as it looks like Jonah is going to be pulling... As I do this, it just seems like they're switching in the same places as Jonah.
Nathan got spun! Nathan spins! He got too much on the curb coming out of turn number 3, and that set him up completely wrong for turn number 4. And Nathan Clark now, down on the inside line, has spun, coming through turn number 4, and Nathan Clark, it always ends a race like this. He always ends up, dare I use the word, bottling his possible chance of the race win. He had that in Singapore. He fought Yona all the way in Singapore and obviously spun there, and he's done exactly the same here in China. The Asian tracks are really not to his liking, I don't think, but Nathan Clark now in P8, set a hard compound of tyres. At least he's going to try and get them towards the end of the race. However, I'm more fancying Nick Houston at this point, because look at him now, 3-lap old hards. All of these guys are on a set of mediums, now on onto a set of hards. Nick Houston now in play. Simply Superman out of DRS, and the Dutchman is going to fly past Simply Superman. Down in towards turn number 14, gets the job done. Yona holds the lead. Nick Houston in second. Nick Houston on considerably fresher tyres compared to the other hard runners on the opposite strategy. Yona there in the lead though. What is Yona going to do? He will probably come into the pit lane, I think, next 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Nathan. He may hate me after this, after what I'm about to say. He is in a hat. I just wonder if he's had a Mazepin spin. I hope not, as that would be very unfortunate for him. But yeah, I think Neek is... I'm very bad at pronunciations of name. You'll probably learn that over the rest of the season. As yeah, it's going to be... I think it's a tough one, because we know Yona has the pace, let's say. But yeah, also Simply Superman doing quite well up there. I believe he's second in the championship you mentioned earlier. So this is going to be a good finish for him, especially his rivals around him is going to be not where they probably wanted to be in this race today, or if they haven't attended, as Neymar is on the only mediums with Yona now, as Yona is dropping time every single lap in each sector. I know it's not much, but I just want... And I think it is going to be another set of the softs.
Yeah, crossover, I think, is the reason why I think Yona's now beginning to struggle. Down the straight, he used up a lot of deployment down the straight there. And now, in towards turn 14, he still leads the way. Nick Houston there in second, 1.3 seconds, just a little bit too deep. But those hards, he's edging away about a tenth, 2 tenths maybe into the gap there, Nick Houston. And the Dutchman has looked quick in this race. Yona now has either got to pit in, forfeit his lead and forfeit his race win, potentially, or he has to come into the pit lane and hope that everyone else is going to be forced in behind. Yona, I think, though, at this stage, I think the only thing that can probably save him is a safety car, and I do not think, judging by the action we've had so far on track, I don't think we're going to get a safety car this race, because it just seems like Yona leading the way. His tyres are going to go off, but it's really, if now the guys in behind have got the pace to try and get the move done. Speaking of moves done, Nathan Clark right on the back of Noisy, who broke very early there, I've got to say, in towards turn number 5. And now, Nathan Clark is not going to think about around the outside of turn number 7, is he? The Haas on the Dutchman on the Red Bull absolutely saunters around the outside. He's now on the inside for 8. Really good battle this between them both. Noisy not giving an inch of room at all. He's to the inside of 9. And I think he's just going to force Nathan Clark out to dry, and he does. Noisy, really good battle that. Fair play. Nathan Clark that was going to try and battle back down in towards turn number 10, turn number 11 in fact, doesn't get the move done. Jonas still leads the way. Nick Houston in second, Simply Superman in third. It's going to be round 2, I think, between Noisy and Nathan Clark running down the straight here. Nathan now on the back of Noisy, currently in P8, but I think Nathan is probably going to get this move done very late on indeed, I would imagine, down in towards turn number 14, and he saunters past Noisy down the straight, and patience is an absolute virtue, I've got to say, on this game. Nathan Clark shows that to absolute full effect. He's into 8th. I've got to say though, Noisy put up a really good fight there, along with Nathan. Both of them, clean as you'd like, didn't give each other room. That is what you call racing.
Yeah, racing at its finest, as the drivers display it here this evening. Their fantastic driving and their fantastic pace, as well as don't count out the safety car yet. It can still come out, or a virtual safety car could help one of the drivers, as that would reduce the safety car, not the safety car, the pit lane time each, I think, under the virtual safety car, but would be quite significant under a safety car. I think probably will be lap 24 would be the last opportunity for a safety car, as the safety car would have to have at least 2 racing laps left, which would be lap 26 to 28. So yeah, it's getting unlikely, but we can't count it out at the moment.
Yeah, final lap that the safety car will probably come out on is probably lap 24, and then obviously you've got the 2 laps, and then I've seen cases where obviously we get lap 27, and then we go on to the final lap of the race, obviously with racing still going on. Yona leading the way, Nick Houston second. Yona has saved a lot, I think, on his tyres here. He's 1.3 seconds now ahead of Nick Houston, who, to be fair, has not caught this gap at this moment in time. Jonas and Bas Bremer are fighting quite aggressively down in towards turn 14. Bas Bremer comes out on top of that battle for now, because Jonas is going to be on the back of him down in towards turn 1. Can the Norwegian battle back on the AlphaTauri ahead of him? Running down the straight, and Jonas, I don't think, is entitled to probably try and go for this move. Yeah, he backs off the throttle, doesn't go for the move. Yona leading the way, though, a second the gap. Nick Houston second, and now I think we've reached the real crossover period. Those tyres now, Yona is going to get a second stint, a second get-go, basically, on those tyres. 1.2 seconds now ahead. Nick Houston, though, for the first time in a few laps, he's beginning to close that gap, which is good to see. Nathan Clark, by the way, is down the inside of Jonas, down in towards turn number 6. Does he get the job done? He is going to think about going around the outside of a driver this time around. Shoot, he's going to get the move done as well. And Nathan Clark, surely he's got the car ahead. Jonas is battling back, though. And again, it's a repeat of last lap around, just with different drivers. Nathan Clark is through, though, into 7th. And again, masterful driving. If he didn't have that spin, he'd be probably on to lead and probably on to win this race. Nathan Clark in 7th, driving phenomenally well. He might be down and out of this race in terms of the actual gaps, unless the safety car obviously comes out, but he's certainly putting up a good performance and showing why he doesn't want to bottle any more races in TTML.
Yeah, I think Jonah needs to, if he still wants to be any chance of a podium, I think, and a second bite of the cherry, then he may need to pit, or he may try and push these mediums. I know some of the drivers obviously came in 10 laps or 11 laps with the mediums, but yeah, I think he's trying to push these out as 6 laps remain.
Nathan right on the back of Bass Bramer. What I was laughing at, by the way, is Trotter, as he went in the back of Nathan Clark, coming in towards turn 14. And Nathan Clark, do you know what, is going to think about the opportunity down the inside line, in towards turn number 3. Doesn't get the move done. Now coming out of 4, through the left-hander of 5, and then towards the right-hander, of course, of turn number 6. Yona leading the way. Nathan Clark, though, was going to think about a dive here, down the outside line, in towards turn number 6. Does he get the switch back out? Bass Bramer makes that look like the widest AlphaTauri you'll ever see. He does like turn 7, though, Nathan Clark. He's right on the back once again, through the left-hander of 7, through the right-hander of 8, and he's nearly spun on the curb, and it catches him out this time, and Jonas repays the favour by going around the outside of him. Nathan Clark, though, is still not battling up without a fight. The Brit tries to cut to the inside line, through turn 9, through turn 10, and however much he struggles on those tyres now, he is doing a damn good job to try and get to the end of this race. In 8th position, he's doing a good job. Nick Houston, by the way, 6/10 of a second behind Yona. Yona's tyres are now probably screaming at this point. However, saying that, though, I'm looking at his front tyres as Armadillo launches one on Simply Superman around the outside of 14. Does he get the move done? Possibly. Scotsman and the Irishman. Hopefully there's a Gaelic Accord going to be going on in towards turn 16. And Armadillo gets the move done. The Irishman, though, Simply Superman, is going to battle back down towards someone. He hasn't got any DRS, though, to use up, and he remains in behind. But Yona leading the way. Nick Houston second for the first time. Yona's getting pressure. And I was going to say there, before that battle commenced, I think Yona's tyres are looking still quite fresh. I can't believe I'm saying that 14 laps in on the stint.
Yeah, it looks like he may have been playing a bit of the mind games with the drivers this evening. As yeah, they're looking okay at the moment. I just wonder if he can hold off the Haas that is behind him. It is going to be an interesting final 5 laps here. I think if he can hold it on, we may be saying that this was a masterclass drive, and he did the 1 stop, where he could have opted for the 2 stop. He could have pitted and obviously gone for another set of softs, but he would have dropped down position. This, I think, he's staying out for track position. He knows... Oh, sector 2 yellow flags.
Matt Tibos is round, coming through turn number 8, and that is unfortunate. I think he took too much of the curb. Hasn't actually spun... Oh, he had spun the car, but he hasn't actually got any front wing damage, which is good. Matt Tibos 11-11, looking like a shadow of his former self from last week, of course. Nick Houston, though, on the back of Yona. Again, quite close enough, but not close enough for the move. Chonas on the back of Bass Bramer. I think it's all going to kick off further down the field. Chonas now enticed in by the battle for 6th. And he does get the move done for 6th. Down the straight in towards turn number 14. And gets the job done as Bass Bramer nearly runs into the back of him and nearly causes a Constantino effect in behind. Nathan Clark and 8th. Nick Houston, though, is right on over the back of Yona. I think Yona went slightly wide coming through turn number 1 there as well. And Nick Houston on the back of him. The Dutchman has been on the podium before. He hasn't took a race win so far this season. And I think it's going to be a Dutch battle towards the end of the race. I'm a D, though. In third place, 1.9 seconds in behind as Matt Tibos has now come into the pit lane, possibly to go for the fastest lap of the race. Nick Houston, second. I'm not ruling out Armadillo at all. Armadillo has got fresh air in front of him. He needs the pace to pick up. He needs to pick up the pace to get onto the battle. And I think if Nick Houston and Yona battle at it for a good few laps towards the end, Armadillo's right there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I think you are right there, James. As it could be, if these two battle too hard, it could open the window for Armadillo to slip his way in to potentially P2 or P1. But Armadillo has got to be careful because he's got Simply Superman right behind him, just under the 1 second mark. If he can shake him off, then he will be in a very nice position to maybe even challenge for P2. But at the moment, that is not the case, as the two at the front are leading, and they're still battling as we come on to what will be lap 25, 3 laps to go.
And the chances of a safety car probably 0 at this point, because we're on lap 25. Get a safety car now, it's only going to be out for 1 lap possibly, and obviously it won't be deployed, I don't think. Yona leads the way, Nick Houston in behind. Nick looks like he's beginning to struggle though on that set of hard compounded tyres. They look more worn. I can't believe I'm saying this. They look more worn than Yona's tyres at this stage. Yona just looks like he's been feathering those tyres. The blister, though, was beginning to occur on that front left. I'm concerned if he's going to get a puncture towards the end of the race. Noisy, by the way, he's just gone possibly around the outside of Bas Bremer coming through turn number 2, which I just haven't seen. Noisy on the inside line for 3, gets the job done. So Noisy through on Bas Bremer, he's through and he's into 8. He might be, though, losing that position once again, because Bas Bremer, again, on the back of him. Not close enough down in towards turn number 6, even though he fakes it in towards turn 6, doesn't get the move done. Yona leads the way, Nick Houston in second. Do you know how I said I'm a D? Don't rule him out, 1.2 seconds in behind. Pace now beginning to pick up by the Scotsman. And the Scotsman, I think, has heard my rallying crawl. Rallying cry, I should say. Is Noisy as spun coming through turn number 7. So that is him now down in 10th position. Outside of the main protagonist point. Nick Houston, though, on the back. 70% of EOS. He's going to go for the move this time around because Yona is an absolute sitting target in front of him. Nick Houston now saunters past him for the race lead. And now Nick can probably pick up the pace. I don't think Yona is going to entirely respond to that. But all Nick needs to do is there's another yellow flag. It's Neymar round coming through turn 7, really catching people out now towards the end. Nick Houston now leading the way. Yona there in second, and Nick looks like he's now on for the race win. But running down the straight, Yona not using up any ERS. He's got to be so careful now on these tyres. 3 laps to go. If he touches a few more curbs, he's going to get a puncture.
Yeah, it's that part of the race where it's going to get really interesting. It's going to get fiery. It's going to get a bit spicy here in China. As do get into the chat as well and support the drivers as well. Maybe also pick your driver of the day, as me and James will be picking ours at the end of the race. We may differ on that one, and well, we'll try and not argue, but like me and Mike did last season. But yeah, it's coming to the final few penultimate laps as it is a Haas on front as Matt Tibos sets the fastest lap with a 33.7 in the Alpine.
Yeah, I think he took that off Yona as well, so Yona's extra point possibly going astray. Yona's still 7/10 away though on the back of Nick Houston. I'm thinking to myself, could he? Could he not? Could he? It's one of those scenarios where you're probably just willing Yona on to even get to the end of the race, first and foremost. But to stay 7/10 behind Nick Houston, running down the straight, the straights are his advantage. Now, in this race, there's too many corners though, I think, for him to actually gain that time back up. Nick Houston leads the way. Yona in second, and Nick actually really, really slow and backs up Yona in towards turn number 14. Nearly looking like Verstappen and Hamilton there in Saudi Arabia, but Yona on the back of Nick Houston. Nick Houston leading the way. Yona there in second. I think Nick just needs to go for broke now. He needs to wear out those tyres because Yona, I think he's got. I think Nick has probably got Yona's number at this stage. Yona, with 2 laps to go, he is literally feathering that throttle. He is feathering those tyres through this lap, through the final 10 kilometres, however long it is around this track. Yona, 4/10 away still, and I'm still thinking to myself, if he's on the final lap of the race and he's 5/10 away, will he go for the race win? I think he's looking up for this. I think Yona wants to go for broke now.
Yeah, it's gonna be now or never, as he is in that Aston Martin, and going to use a little bit of a James Bond reference here, and it looks like I think for Jonah it is he's got the license to race as hard as possible, as he probably has got a...
How's that a Bond reference? He's got the license to kill, surely.
Well, yeah, I just didn't want to sound, coming across too rude. This is a PG. Let's keep it family friendly.
Is Nick Houston... Is Yona, though, going to be close enough down in towards 14? I don't think he is. He's not using up any ERS. That is telling. He doesn't want to use any ERS. I think it's going to be turn 1. Go for the move. Nick Houston is there. If Yona can get a good run out of 15, it really sets him up, and Nick Houston nearly spins, and that's exactly what he wanted. Yona now on the back, coming in towards the final corner at turn number 16. He needs to avoid the curbs as much as possible, but now he's going to launch hell on Nick Houston, running down in towards turn number 1. Is he going to fake the move around the outside in towards turn 1? The Dutchman now going at it, hammer and tongs. The Aston Martin to the inside of the Haas, and they make contact, and Yona was sent round. Yona dummied it to the inside line. His tyres are now short, and now Simply Superman is going around the outside of Armady as well. Nick Houston's handed the race win. Yona there in 4th. I think, as I said earlier on, patience is a virtue. I think Yona should have had patience on his side there.
Yeah, was it a desperate move by Yona? going into a position like that, I think he knew he wanted the win. He knew he needed the win to keep this championship alive, as it is unfortunate. He is going to potentially now, he's not even going to be on the podium, as nobody in front of him has a penalty, as he may still get P3 if he can get past Simply Superman on this final lap.
He's got more ERS than both of them ahead, so Yona's going to probably come back at them down the straight. Nick Houston, though, coming now through turn number 13, it is now his race to lose. He only has 3 more corners in front of him. It's a 3-wide battle, by the way. Nathan Clark, Cholas and Bas Bramer are going out for 6th, 7th and 8th. That's getting quite spicy. Nick Houston leads the way. Here comes Simply Superman, though, on the back of Armour D. Is he going to lunge it to the inside line? No, but that's exactly what Yona wanted, because they're now put offline, coming through the final couple of corners, and they make contact slightly. Nick Houston around the final corner. He's run out of fuel. Nick Houston's run out of fuel. I can't believe it. Armour D around the final corner will win the Chinese Grand Prix. Simply Superman in second. Yona in third, and Nick Houston runs out of fuel with 2 corners to go. He finishes in 4th. He is out of the podium. Yona gets that podium back. What a dramatic finale. Nick Houston in the end is 4th. He should have known how much fuel he had. He's run out of it right at the end of the race, and Armadi has snatched it from thin air. He wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Simply Superman in second. Yona is somehow third, and he somehow got those ties to the end. Nick Houston in 4th. His race was to lose, and he lost it.
Yeah, I think it's one of them moments of there's nothing to say, really. Yeah, that's so heartbreaking to have a race win right in your hands with 2 final corners to go. But man, oh man, that I really sympathise with Houston there, as yeah. Oh, Neymar gets a whopping 10-second penalty.
He needs that removing.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Oh god.
I was going to say, just to finish off that, to the inside line through 16, he took too much curb, forced him out wide, and he took the off ramp, basically, where you normally pick up an invalidation in qualifying by going way out wide of the track limits coming out the final corner. He took that 10-second penalty removal won't affect his position because he was nowhere near Matt Tibos in the end. But Armour D, the Scotsman, somehow takes the race victory here. What a dramatic finale. Menno saying exactly what I think everyone else in this comment section is probably going to say. Nick had to win. He had to win. It's just a misjudgment in terms of the fuel. He probably knew how much fuel he had going into the final lap of the race, but I've seen it so many times before. Drivers running out, coming through the final 2 corners, and he had to put more fuel in the car. Maybe a lap's worth of fuel is all that he needed. In the end, Armour D, from 10th position, by the way, made that medium compound tyre work early on, pitted in around lap 11, and got the race win. So the Scotsman wins from Simply Superman in second, Yona somehow in third, Nick Houston in 4th, Tom in 5th, Jonas in 6th, Nathan Clark in 7th, Bas Bramer in 8th, Bray in 9th, Noisy ran off the top 10, DJ Gill in 11th, Matt Tibos in 12th, Neymar in 13th. I'm proud to say everyone else actually finished the race, which is really good to see. In the end, though, Armour D has won, Simply Superman in second, Yona in third. Jamie has just missed it all. Jamie has missed it all. Watch that stream back, my friend. Honestly, the most dramatic finale to Chinese Grand Prix, maybe to any TTML race I think I've ever commentated on.
Yeah, and it all happens on my F2 comms debut as well. So I brought something to the table. I brought something. But yeah, what a race here in China, and especially to go on to I believe it's the break week here in TTML. So yeah, what a way to go in and leave us on the edge of our seats as we go into that break week. But don't forget also tomorrow will be Formula 4, which will be with Pariah and Buck as well, where they will take you through the action with Formula 4 also in China, where they'll take to the Shanghai track with 28 laps and a short qualifying session.
Yeah, they will do indeed, and it is, of course, that 28-lap race that hopefully we'll work out in the end. I'm going to try and invite the top 3. I've got to remember their PSN names first. That'll be an absolute help.
Yeah, don't do what I did Monday.
I'm going to get Yona in. I'm just doing it through my iPad, so it might be worth going to something else, possibly. Who else was top 3?
Simply Superman and I'm a D.
Simply Superman. No, Simply Superman doesn't normally join.
I don't know if you've read TTML F2 chat, Tom, after finishing in the top 10, but I quite like China.
I'll have a look at the Discord in a second for reaction to everyone. Just need the other person. I'm a D, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of them funny PSN names that I'm now gonna go back on the stream to find. That's terrible. If anybody can put his PSN name in, that'll be a massive help, because I can't find it at this stage. But I will, do you know what? I'll invite both of Yona and Simply Superman, and I know Yona will probably want an interview. He's always up for an interview with me when I'm commentating. So both of them have been added. I'll try and get Armadi's PSN name in a second. And I'll try and check the chat as well. In fact, I'm being thick, because I could just go on the Discord and have a look for it. I'm stupid. Absolutely stupid. Yona has set up another party by the looks. So, shall we go over to that one?
We might as well.
May as well. I will join you there. And I'm going to just go on blue screen. I'm going to transfer over to that party now. Oh, there's nobody in it. Hang on. Is he coming over here? Is he coming over here? There's nobody there. I'm literally on the blue screen and I can see nobody is in that party. But I'm going to join it anyways and see if he joins. Right, just transferring over to the party now. Not sure if PSN's having me on here and he's saying that he is here. No, he actually just isn't here. So Yona's not in the party at the minute. Hopefully he will be joining very soon indeed. My god, what an ending to that race in China. Fantastic finish. So unlucky though from Nick Houston's perspective. Heartbreaking end to that race for the Dutchman. Speaking of the Dutchman, finishing in P3, Yona. And Yona, I've got to commend you first and foremost. I didn't think you'd get to the end on those tyres. 19 laps you made them to the end. How on earth did you make them, and what were your tyres on towards the end of the race? Because there surely must have been shot.
It was left front and left rear. Left front was at almost 70. between 65 and 70, and the rear was not much lower than that, but it was lower.
How?
I got to do some tire saving in the beginning when I was like 2-3 laps behind hard runners.
Yeah.
And yeah, then that was the saving period. I think that was a bit crucial that I just toned it down a bit over there, and then pick my moves smart instead of hard.
Yeah, pick your moves really good, I think, during the race as well. Obviously, you got to the lead of the race, and I was thinking, when you won, I think, 10 or 11 laps into your stint, I was thinking, he's now committed to the end of the race. He must be on about 50% tyre wear. And to hear you say you're on 70% tyre wear at the end of the race just comes to show what a great driver you are in terms of your tyre wear, because that track is very difficult in terms of the tyre wear. But a P3 finish, from what could have looked like the race win, apart from that final lap incident, of course, still a positive result, and you still keep that championship lead, I think.
I think I did, yeah. Now just the little mistakes, or the losing the car, or by contact or by myself, that was everything was like I could have done something different to prevent it from happening. So there was not really much to blame or anything to blame with others, and I really enjoyed today's race. I enjoyed China in general. Because I think it had some good, it can have some good side-by-side racing, and I think you saw that today. I really enjoyed it, but it's at the same time a very hard track on the tire wear, of course, but also just on the exits of those difficult corners. And yeah, I made some big mistakes, costing me the win. Firstly, the start, of course, that was not good. A terrible start compared to Nathan. And qualifying was good. I can say that I pooped those laps out like like really. They came out not out of nowhere, but I really made them work, and it felt good. But the race didn't go as planned. But still, P3, very happy with that. I'll take that with everything that's happened in the race. And yeah, GG's to IMD for sure for making it count. Unfortunately for Nick, he ran out of fuel. I recognized he was saving fuel, and I heard from someone he had the indicator on his dashboard on his telemetry. So I knew he had the risk of running out of fuel, and he did. Which costed him a podium, or even a win.
So unfortunate, and I said at the end of commentary there, probably the most dramatic ending to a Chinese Grand Prix and probably to a TTML race I think I've ever commentated on, because it was heartbreaking to see.
More dramatically than Tuesday.
Yeah, more dramatic than Tuesday, definitely
Much
so
more.
than Tuesday. Obviously, FRL did get covered on this channel, by the way, if you do want to go and watch that. It hasn't been deleted yet, so go and watch it while you can. But, Storm, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, actually, I have one question for the Dutchman himself. As you saw drivers coming in on the mediums 10 laps, possibly on 11 laps as well. Was you ever considering a two-stop strategy? Was you ever considering coming in for a soft, or was you literally going to fight this?
Yeah, so the thing is, Nathan Clark went, I believe, end lap 4, if I'm correct, or it was end lap 4. And I noticed that, and I was like, that's way too early. He went way too early, so that I committed myself to going long and to go for the medium tires. And when I saw everyone else pitting like laps later, 1 or 2 laps later, I knew I would be the only one on the strategy. Nick on the mediums, I was surprised he went for the medium hards, because I mean, if you can do soft medium on used quali softs, you can do medium softs if it's a fresh for sure. But he went for the hards as well, which made it even more interesting when he catched up. And I think I was on the right strategy. I just didn't have the perfect drive today.
Yeah, of course. Unfortunate there on the last lap as you had to spin, but it was redemption though. You did get the podium. Unfortunately,
now that I think about it, if I was just patient right there, I would have won.
Well, yeah,
we would have run out of fuel. Fuck! I just realized now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it might have not been the perfect drive, but you still got on the podium. Still crucial points. It was damage limitations for yourself and the Aston Martin. Obviously, you got the break week coming up. Are you looking forward to having a week off, getting refreshed, and obviously coming back in just over a week's time? And for the rest of the season, is there any tracks that you probably don't like on the calendar?
To be honest, I don't really am a fan of break weeks.
Oh, okay.
Great
management.
Yeah, no, because I get to there, but no, I would have loved it to just continue on.
You just like racing.
Oh, we have Jeddah there. Okay, so James, we have Jeddah again. That will be a good one, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so, at least. Which I don't like.
Japan, surely.
I'd say
I think a lot of people
dislike
don't like
Japan the most, and then second after that USA, and then Australia probably.
And also, obviously, you are in the championship lead now. Last season, you was in a championship fight. Do you believe in yourself that you can win this championship? Do you see yourself as coming at the end of the season, and me and James saying, that you are a champion? Do you believe in yourself?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. It was just not. Today was just not optimal, but it was a limitation, as was said, and we move on to the next one, and then I'm going for the same thing as I was here today. That's the win.
Of course, you always want to win, and
I just want to adjust as well. The latest thing is that I'm tied for the lead.
Wow.
Yes, you are.
Am I? Because no, wait. Did Simply Superman get second? He did, right?
He did.
Yes, he did.
So we're level because both of us, neither of us got the fast lap.
And also, I believe it's going to be the first race for TTML at Jeddah. So I don't think it was on last season's calendar. So
nope.
Yeah, that'll be something new for not just me and James to experience, but the drivers as well. As I don't know if James has got anything else you want to say, James?
Nothing apart from the fact that I don't. Well, I hope that you're not going to let me down for the rest of the season, apart from this drive here in China, because I did predict it at the end of last season for the title. So pressure is on.
The pressure's on, Joe.
It is definitely. It is definitely.
We're both.
Do you want to enjoy
I'm
Eden,
working
though?
on it. Yes, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. I'm surely gonna enjoy watching it back.
Definitely so. Go and enjoy evening, as I say. Big thank you, of course, to Yona for joining us in the commentary box for the interviews. That is the end of tonight's TTML F2 stream. Hopefully, everyone is going to be having a very good time, and hopefully they can all watch. Everyone can watch this back in real good effects. Storm, I'm going to come across to you. Who is your driver of the day?
Well, I think this is really tough. Obviously, it would have gone to Houston, I think, if he hadn't have had the fuel issue right at the end. But I am going to go with the race leader today, which is Imad. He picked his moment, and he picked it well. I know it was at the end of the race, but I think for me, it is Imad.
What did I say, by the way, before 4 or 5 laps before the race? I said, Imad might have a chance at winning this. And look what happened.
You did.
You may as well consider me Lucky James here.
We might have to call you Mystic James.
Mystic James, yeah, that is the moniker I think I go by these days in TTML. Mystic James, I might change that to my full name as well, you never know. Yeah, brilliant racing, of course, out on track. I've got to agree with you. I think Imad definitely gets driver of the day vote from me as well. I would have gone to Nick Houston. I think a real credible mention to Nick, because I know there's a race win in there some point at the season. He drove a fantastic race tonight, and unfortunately for him, it just didn't come out. If the circuit was 2 corners shorter, he would have won that race. Same with Yona, though. His mistakes as well coming into play in the end. And that could have cost him a race win as well. So there could have been so many different stories. In the end, it was Imad that took the win in the dramatic final couple of corners here in China. And as Storm has already alluded to, we're on break week next week, so you're not going to be hearing my northern tones next week, unfortunately, or Storm's southern tones in as the co-commentator. And we will be back, of course, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, the 24th of March we'll be back for Jeddah, so that is in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully everyone is going to mark that in their calendars, because Jeddah, every single race I've had around there, normally, best race of the season, and hopefully we're going to get that this season as well here in TTML F2. Big thank you to Storm, of course, for joining me in the comment box as always. Brilliant to see him back, of course, and of course we did PSGL F3 during the week as well. And I'm going to leave the stream by these 4 words, which I think is very fitting at this point in our time and in the world at the minute. We stand with Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.